Would you hire this person? San Francisco Mayor Gavin Newsom has disclosed that he has to read newspaper articles twice to fully understand them, and his notes to City Hall staffers contain numerous spelling errors. When Newsom traveled to Charles Armstrong School in Belmont to address a student audience, he talked about having dyslexia, a learning disability that makes reading, writing, spelling, and speaking difficult because letters and sounds are jumbled. He named several successful individuals who have dealt with the condition, including Dr. Seuss, Henry Ford, Cher, and yes, the youngest mayor of San Francisco in over 100 years. "I still have dyslexia," Newsom said. "It doesn't magically go away, but it's okay. It gets a lot easier if you work hard. You're going to be better people because of the academic struggles you have right now. There is nothing in this world you guys can't accomplish. I promise you that." Employers want to hire talented people, but recruiting talent requires a great deal of time, effort, and money. An employer may write job postings, place newspaper and online ads, and review resumes to select qualified applicants. Another employer may choose to utilize costly placement services. Then there is the process of interviewing and weighing the qualifications of each candidate, and often, despite an employer's best efforts, the chosen applicants lack the skills, experience, and professionalism required for the job. Hiring talented people costs money. The average cost of placing an ad in a newspaper is $2,500. Referral costs range between $500 and $2,000, while internet posting rates range between $300 and $500 per listing. Add to that the cost of the human resources staff required to manage the process, not to mention the additional personnel needed to engage the candidate in the interview process, and the cost of recruiting a talented employee rises considerably. The estimated cost of these resources is 150% of the annual salary of the position being filled, up to 250% of the annual salary if the position is in management or sales. To put this into perspective, assume the average salary of an employee of a given company is $50,000 per year. Taking the cost of turnover at 150% of salary, the cost of turnover is $75,000 per employee. For a mid-sized company with 1,000 employees and a 10% rate of turnover, the annual cost of turnover is $7.5 million. All too often, this costly process results in employing an individual who appears highly talented on paper, but perhaps is not punctual, has difficulty working constructively with fellow employees, or leaves the organization as soon as something better comes along. Consider retraining costs when it comes time to hire a replacement. It is estimated that the cost of hiring the wrong person for the job is roughly 3 times the annual salary paid for that position, and that doesn't include the cost associated with the time it takes to find a replacement. Hiring talented people requires expertise. Recruiting employees is an art form, knowing where to look for the right candidates, how to evaluate an applicant's skills and experience, and how to effectively transition the hiree into an organization is a complex process. But what you may or may not know is that out of every 100 applicants interviewed, at least one has a disability. In fact, almost 22 million Americans of working age have a disability, representing 1/8 of all working age Americans. They are only half as likely as Americans without disabilities to be employed, 38% compared to 78% for non-disabled workers. Among those who are employed, there is a further gap in earnings. The median annual earnings for full-time year-round workers with disabilities is $30,000, compared with $36,000 for workers without disabilities. Ensuring employment opportunities for people with disabilities is important, not only for those individuals but also for employers, government, and society. Employers are projected to face labor shortages as the baby boom generation retires, and unemployed persons with disabilities represent a valuable pool of human resources to help fill those needs. Employers are increasingly recognizing the benefits of workplace diversity. Providing greater opportunities to people with disabilities enhances diversity in ways that improve employee performance and expand the customer base. Government agencies receive the same benefits as an employer, and also enjoy the advantages of increased employment of people with disabilities, as tax incentives increase and social expenditures decline. There are also societal benefits as the barriers facing people with disabilities are dismantled. For example, enhancements to public facilities originally intended to increase accessibility for people with disabilities now benefit society at large. Modifications such as curb cuts, automatic doors, and audio-visual announcements benefit all members of society. Talented employees with disabilities have much to offer employers, but in order to maximize an employee's contributions to the workplace, some reasonable accommodations may be required. A talented employee's disability may not be readily apparent, but the need for accommodations remains. Someone like Mayor Newsom, for example, might need assistance editing written communications, or a visually impaired individual might require special software to operate a computer. In either case, such accommodations can be secured at little or no cost to an employer. Given that a significant number of employees may benefit from accommodations, working with the expert in disability accommodations is the smart choice. Jobsgroup is the expert when it comes to recruiting, hiring, and retaining talented people of all abilities. Jobsgroup is a one-of-a-kind alliance of community-based organizations and state and federal agencies in San Francisco and San Mateo counties dedicated to the training and employment of persons with disabilities. Jobsgroup is unique in that it specializes in preparing candidates for employment in addition to providing assistance to employers with all elements of the employment process. We want to know what your staffing needs are today and in the future so we can be an asset to your hiring process. Once Jobsgroup understands your immediate employment needs, we will work with you to find the most qualified applicants. When it comes to your organization's long-term employment goals, Jobsgroup will work to develop a pool of qualified applicants who will help you reach your objectives. Jobsgroup successfully placed more than 650 employees with disabilities in 2006 alone. Many of our participants have completed specialized training programs and are ready now to meet your staffing needs. Jobsgroup currently has over 4,000 talented pre-screened applicants ready to go to work today in a variety of business sectors, including administrative, office, medical, manufacturing, warehousing, shipping, security, food, hospitality, and retail. Jobsgroup provides valuable information and resources that can benefit businesses in hiring and training individuals with disabilities. Jobsgroup provides worksite analysis, meeting with employers to carefully determine all job requirements in order to find the right person for the job. Factors considered include requisite skills and experience, physical demands, volume and pace of work, level of supervision required, needed orientation and training time, environmental factors, work culture, and appropriate grooming and dress. Jobsgroup provides applicant screening. Its members work methodically with applicants to assess their strengths and limitations, and to match them carefully with employers using worksite analysis. In addition, Jobsgroup conducts on-the-job assessments to evaluate and enhance the placed employee. Jobsgroup is available at every stage of the process to ensure successful placement for the employers served. In addition, Jobsgroup provides vocational training for prospective employees through its community partners at community colleges, universities, and specialized vocational training sites. Jobsgroup also provides consulting on the Americans with Disabilities Act. Title I of the ADA enhances access to employment for people with disabilities by requiring employers to make reasonable accommodations. This requirement has created concerns that employers may not hire people with disabilities because of the cost of accommodations. Surveys have found, however, that only 24% of organizations who hire employees with disabilities need to provide any accommodations, and the majority of accommodations cost less than $500. In addition, state and federal programs for Jobsgroup employment candidates fund any needed accommodations. Jobsgroup is available to assist your organization in identifying and obtaining necessary accommodations for employees with disabilities. Many employers find that accommodations result in high payoffs for employers. Charlene Stringer, General Manager of Marriott Regional Worldwide Reservation Center in Santa Ana, California, has said, "Yes, we have to do things differently and adapt our work environment for our visually impaired associates, but that is nothing compared to the impact we've been able to make on someone's life. We are giving back to our communities while at the same time reaping the benefits of a work team that is dedicated, loyal, dependable, and most of all, successful. A win-win situation has been realized for all involved in this initiative. Accommodations can be seen as part of a universal process of responding to the needs of all employees. As stated by Millie DeBien of IBM, what we do is accommodate any employee, whether they are disabled or not. Every employee gets what they need. When it comes to people with disabilities, it may be assistive technology or services. Even if you're not disabled, even if there is something you need in order to make your job more productive, you would get it. In addition to ADA consulting, Jobsgroup provides job retention services that include on-the-job coaching, development, maintenance of job retention plans, and ongoing performance follow-ups. Jobsgroup also assists interested employers in identifying and obtaining relevant tax credits, which can substantially contribute to the cost-effectiveness of hiring persons with disabilities. Working with Jobsgroup doesn't cost your organization anything, because Jobsgroup is an alliance comprised of community-based nonprofit organizations that receive their funding from the Department of Rehabilitation and other government agencies. Jobsgroup absorbs any potential costs associated with preparing candidates for employment. Your organization receives the benefit of a qualified workforce at a competitive value. Once a candidate is employed, retention services are offered to ensure success of all placements. Moreover, Jobsgroup maintains its commitments to all of its placements and employers by remaining available to provide necessary consultation regarding not only accessibility matters, but also funding sources available to offset any potential cost. Jobsgroup offers businesses a variety of no-cost training services which help promote greater knowledge of disability rights, access, and employment law. Examples include training on the Americans with Disabilities Act, the Fair Employment and Housing Act, disability information and referrals, physical access surveys, self-evaluations, transition planning, ongoing compliance, emergency evacuation, and other technical assistance. Reasonable accommodation assistance is also available through the Department of Rehabilitation's Disability Access section. Working with the Jobsgroup can earn the employer both on-the-job training money from the Department of Rehabilitation and tax credits. The Work Opportunity Tax Credit is available through the California Employment Development Department. Per the Small Business Disabled Access Credit, IRS Code Section 144, small businesses may take an annual tax credit of up to $5,000 to make their businesses accessible to employees and individuals with disabilities. The Architectural and Transportation Tax Deduction, IRS Code Section 190, states that a business may take an annual deduction of up to $15,000 for expenses incurred to remove physical, structural, and transportation barriers. Working with Jobsgroup reduces turnover. That is because employees with disabilities tend to remain employed in a single position for 2 to 3 times as long as a non-disabled worker. For example, the average retention time of Jobsgroup employees is 6 years, compared with the average rate of only 1.5 to 3 years. Remember, persons with disabilities represent a segment of the overall population that continues to experience an unemployment rate of over 70% nationwide. This statistic demonstrates that talented Jobsgroup employees are highly motivated to work and excel at their jobs. What's more, they come to work with Jobsgroup pre-screening, training, and retention services, resulting in employment outcomes that equal success for both the employee and the employer. Jobsgroup already has worked to bring this competitive employment advantage to market leaders in your community, such as State Compensation Insurance Fund, Wells Fargo, Trader Joe's, UC San Francisco, Westfield Shopping Centers, and Nordstrom. Jobsgroup has built positive collaborative relationships with Bank of America and Washington Mutual Bank to identify qualified applicants from our resource pool. Bank of America's staffing department works closely with various state and local agencies to provide individuals with disabilities equal access to the company's many employment opportunities. Employing individuals through the Jobsgroup saves time and money, produces better placement outcomes, and comes with critical retention support services. Employing individuals through the Jobsgroup is more than just hiring. It's hiring smart. Wouldn't you like to be among the leaders in the marketplace? and benefit from this talented employee pool, contact Jobsgroup today at info@jobsgroup.org.